All right, good day and welcome to another episode of RoadFS Detail Memoirs, where every week we explore the movers, the shakers, the business owners, the vendor suppliers of the automotive detailing industry. I'm Jody.
And I'm Rod Pusey. Just a quick reminder, we started a new month, so that means there's a new giveaway in our relief program with Buff and Shine. If you don't know how it works, your name has to be in this bowl. To get your name in that bowl for a once-a-month drawing for thousands of dollars worth of pads and free software, you need to go out to your social media and you need to post with the hashtags, hashtag Buff and Shine Manufacturing, hashtag Reflection Artist, and hashtag RoadFS. And then all you got to do is say something nice. I don't care if you say, "Oh, Justin Lobato is so hot, I love him at Buff and Shine," or whatever you want to say. Rod and Jody are so cool. They're the most awesome guys ever. Just say something nice about us. Post it on your social media as often as you like. You do not have to do a full-blown ad like some of the people have, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But post whatever you want. Post as often as you want. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for these videos, and you are entered in for the drawing. And we have 11 more to give away at least. Buff and Shine has told us they give us more stuff. It's going great. We have tons of people entered already. But that's it. Just go enter and let's give some stuff away.
So, yeah, we've been having really fun. I actually have the box loaded up to send out to October's winner, John Coronella from American Detail Corp. That's going out today. So look for that. You'll probably get that next week, John. So we are super excited. We've been wanting to get Chris Blaisdell, right?
Right, you said it right.
All right,
Excellent,
good. I just wanted to make sure. So Chris Blaisdell, owner of Onsite Detail out of Midvale, Utah, and he's slowly taken over much of the Utah market with his bright orange minivans. Because he's got his mobile detailing business dialed in. So I'm like, man, we got to get him on the phone, hear your story. So good morning, and thank you for joining us, Chris.
Good morning.
So how did
pleasure
you
to be here? I know when we tried to get this set up a while ago, I was on a trip and birthday stuff and all that fun stuff. But yeah, no, I'm excited to be on with you guys. This is fun.
You act like there's a thing called life that goes on besides business.
Yeah, I guess that gets in the way sometimes. I'm trying to work nonstop and I got to do other things, right? All this stuff gets in the way of work.
Well, it seems like you do a good job of it, because I was looking at your business page and your personal page, and your personal page is all dad and kids and wife, and it seems like you're very, very engaged with your family, and you figured out a way to give the appropriate amount of time to family as well as your business.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always a struggle, right? I try. And I try not to cross over too much, even though, it happens where my mom actually works here with me. And, my wife has been involved with the business up until very recently, where we kind of step back and we pass on some of the responsibilities to CPA, things like that. But, kids are always in my life. And they're like my reason why. Why I get up in the morning, why I come to work, why I run the business the way I do. The end goal is to make sure that they have what they need and have all the opportunities that they can,
Yep.
do in life and be happy and taken care of.
So how did you get started? And it sounds like you started, I have this idea, I'm going to create a mobile detailing business. My wife's helping me. She's doing all the CPA, the bookkeeping work. And now you've grown into where you can have the wife step out and actually, really evolve your business over time.
So my story is actually a little different, more unique probably than a lot of guys that get into detailing. And especially those who end up being a full-on business owner with it. I'll try to make this short, but it may take a minute. I actually did not start this company. My brother did it, I started working for him shortly thereafter because it was a job and I needed one of those at the time. And it was easier than going and hunting around and trying to find, work. So I started detailing with him. Quickly found out that I actually really enjoyed it for various reasons. One, most of the time you get to see the results pretty quickly. Same day in most cases. Also the action of customers, you can really make someone happy by, bringing their car back, 3 years bringing it back. Anyway, long story short there, a few years after I started working for him, I was only working like 2 days a week with him, like Friday and Saturday. I had 2 other jobs at the time as well and going to school. But my brother-in-law and sister approached me and my wife and said, hey, would you want to buy this business from us? And this was back 2008. So kind of things had crashed and the business had really slowed down. And we had kind of seen the headaches they had gone through and dealing with different things. And so we told them no. We're just like, no, we're good, thanks. But a few months later went by. My wife had graduated with her bachelor's degree, could not find a job in anything where, and we said, you know what, why not? So we decided to approach them and at that time it was still a good sized operation, nothing like it is now, but 2 vans and a couple guys that were working there along with me, and so we took it over. Were able to kind of break things down, make some changes, and get it going successful. I mean, my wife went to school for finance. She was the one who really drilled down and said, "Hey, we need to make these changes, or this business is not going to work." And
right.
I said, "Okay, I'll clean the cars." she really helped this thing get going and. Over the years, I've really found that I really love business, and I really love that side of it. And so I've, I didn't get an MBA or anything like that, or didn't go to school for business. I actually went to school for graphic design out of all things, and ended up doing this. But I really like business, and so I've learned business through, running a business and in many cases making mistakes and learning from them, but also just reading books and studying and listening to people and getting advice from mentors and even guys like you, just looking at how you guys do things. I learn from it and can apply it to my business and in my life, really, even in some instances. So basically, we took that over, 2009, I believe. We were running it out of my in-laws' house when we were living in their basement, and were able to grow it, move it to our house. We bought a house, moved into it, ran it out of there for a while. About 2015, I believe. Maybe 2014, we moved into a shop we bought out of another business, another mobile guy's business. He was just going to school, moving out of state, so he worked out, really good fit. We just kind of took it over and kept it going and added to our own stuff. So we got a shop then. Didn't really do much with the shop except it was an office and a storage unit basically for us. We did details out of it here and there. And we were there until earlier this year in May when we got kicked out of that place because they were tearing it down to build a new huge office building. We moved into our new space and everything has just taken off. So our shop business is booming, and our mobile vans are out, pretty much right now, light until dark most days and keeping busy until the winter hits. Like we were just saying, the winter's coming fast here, so
yeah,
getting prepped for that. But
and you guys are really similar to the climate. I mean, you guys are in the Utah area. Tell everybody the actual city you guys are in. But we've been down there personally. We know a lot of detailers in that area, and that's a booming area for detailers. I mean, I could probably name 3 or 4 off the top of my head.
It is.
So
it is, and the funny thing is, with COVID stuff going on and kind of the economy, a lot of people losing at least full-time jobs. Maybe they still were holding on to part-time stuff, but we've had a lot of new guys jump into the market too, which seems to happen every time there's kind of a dip. It is, or it can be like a low barrier to entry type of business doing it mobile and stuff. But yeah, there is a hot market for detailing here. So we do have a lot of guys coming in, but it's kind of been great. There's kind of, for the most part, with the guys that have been around for a while, there's a good camaraderie, like throwing each other business and helping each other out.
Yeah.
Some of the guys that are just kind of one-man shows, they'll, collaborate on jobs and, bigger jobs that they couldn't handle by themselves. And it's been great just to see that change because, I'm sure you guys remember, and as many people do, it used to be just everyone's at each other's throats and tearing each other down instead of building everybody up,
Yeah, and that's the one thing is when we were down
there, it's really
there,
been a big change, and it's been great.
Yeah, when we were actually down there on site with you guys in Utah, that's one of the things we noticed is that some of the guys that are down there were literally very collaborative. It was a shocker to me, and this has been, what was it, 2 years ago or a year ago?
Year ago,
2019, and it was where you've got multiple one-man shops that will go to each other's shop to help them work out, and that's cool. I mean, some of our favorite people are right out of Utah because of that atmosphere. It doesn't seem to be the cutthroat, the cocky. It seems like you guys collaborate a lot more, and so, obviously you're an IDA member, certified detailer as well, and that's part of it. Is the people down there are certified, and for the most part. So, where are you guys? Where's your headquarters then? Where's your shop located?
So our shop is based out of Midvale. So basically central Salt Lake Valley, right in the middle, right off of the freeway, off of I-15. So it's a great location for our mobile vans to go out and get everywhere. It's also very easy for people to come to us, for whatever reason, if they prefer either or, we can do both. And then, it's pretty easy to find too. So it's been great for us to move here. Whereas our old shop was kind of back in a weird little kind of wonky area, and people are always like, "Where are you guys?" And they'd always end up in the back of the building or somewhere weird.
Yeah,
nearby, but not quite there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which I know it is that way with a lot of guys because it's just what you can afford, what's available as far as spaces go, and things like that. But yeah, we've really flourished here. We're actually have some pretty big plans to expand into some new markets and things like that here pretty soon. And we're looking actually at a second location right now in Utah County, like the second shop that would be another little hub for us, not the main thing, but that, and then also down in St. George as well. We're working on that, which has actually been in the works forever, but it keeps getting messed up. And we were supposed to be down there earlier this year, and COVID came and happened and changed all those plans. So
yep,
kind of redoing all that. But it's still in the works, and despite everything that's happened this year with all the craziness, especially here locally, there was even the earthquake, which threw everyone off, and I know you guys had one up there too, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. We've had everything but flying sharks in 2020. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
kind of the guys that have made it through the 2008, 2009, and then made it through COVID, we're just like, okay, what's next? I mean, can't find drive your truck through the front window. We don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
We actually have the window that somebody can drive through too.
Yeah.
So one of the things.
Everything's been good though. Like we've throughout this year we've grown. I've been able to hire on some new people, and like I said, our shop has been booming, which is totally new beast for me to do, just because I was always mobile. So as weird as it sounds, for me to do a detail in the shop is harder than for me to do it mobile.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to that, and that, like, I learned how to do everything in the hot sun or the cold temperatures, like all the products don't use in direct sunlight. That's what I have to do. So I had to learn how to finesse everything that way. And people were like, paint correction outside is too hard. It's you don't get control of it. That's how I learned. That's how I did it. So coming to a shop and having all these different ways of doing it, I kind of had to relearn and especially for my team, I've had to relearn how to train and do things a little bit differently. The fun thing now is, though, some of my guys will cross over and they'll do mobile and in-shop stuff, and they'll get to experience both of that, and which just makes them better detailers.
Oh yeah, multiple environments, multiple different challenges in each one, right? I mean, you've got low light conditions sometimes inside, and you roll it out. You think you're Superman, and you roll it outside, and you're like, oh crap, that's a mess.
Swirls.
So yeah,
it's true though. I mean, like, we've had to, we've added lighting and got all these special lights to go, for interior work and even paint correction and stuff. And it's funny though, because we always find when we pull it out in the sunlight, it looks better in the sunlight than it does in our shop with all our special lights, because it shows everything.
Yeah.
Then you pull it out in the sun, and it's like, oh, it actually looks amazing.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's good. It's good. It's not the opposite, right?
Right.
You don't want to have a 60-footer.
Occasionally, the opposite happens with the interior, just because the lighting on the inside is kind of a little bit harder sometimes with angles and shadows and things like that. But I actually bought these huge. I just got them from Home Depot, but there's these workspace lights, so they're 360 lights. So you just set them in the middle of the car, and it's like the sun's in there. Like, it's almost hard to see because it's too bright. But they've helped a lot actually with smaller issues like that, where like, oh, I missed this spot of vacuuming, or stuff like that.
So customers come in and try to figure out why the guys at Onsite Detail have to wear sunglasses when they're detailing a car,
Yeah, why we have tan lines.
We're just that cool.
It's like, how come you have a tan in January? I've been doing interiors all day.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So as you're kind of, it's cool because you've gone from mobile, you've gone to mobile and inside the four walls. And one of the things that I've noticed about your business is you are huge on training, both for yourself as a business owner, but also training your guys. So let's talk about how that's really given you a competitive edge in your business.
I think it's really the attitude that you never stop learning. Somebody told me a long time ago when I was young, maybe like 13, 14, somewhere in that, they said, they told me, you can learn something from every single person you come across.
Yep.
And sometimes people are like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, how am I going to learn something from, this guy who, has this lowly career and, or just is a job hopper, or this person who doesn't have a family, how can I learn anything from them, when my life's so full of family, or I think this person told me, they said, if you think of somebody that you could not learn something from, you're wrong. So I've always, since that point on, at least I've tried to, when I meet people, or I talk to people, or I get to know people, I try to learn things from them. If you've ever looked at me when I'm in a new area or a new thing, I'm pretty quiet. I don't say a whole lot unless I'm asked, because I'm very observant. Like, I'm looking at everybody. I'm kind of getting a feel for them. And it's not because I'm like, oh, like, I need to figure this person out. It's more like, okay, what am I going to be able to learn from this person or from him or her? Even kids a lot of times will teach me stuff, and having kids, obviously you learn a lot too, but that's kind of just been my mentality. So when I bring that to the business, I assume I am not the most knowledgeable person in the room, even when I'm with my employees. Like, I don't consider myself the best detailer. I do not consider myself like the best business person. I don't consider myself the best person in general. You know, I just feel that I can learn from everyone, and so I kind of try to do that in every situation. And so when I take that to business, I'm always looking for opportunities to learn, whether that's with detailing or in business or you know, customer service or customer retention, or I mean, you could drill it down to the very specific things, but I always think there's a better way. So like sometimes my guys and you know, people that work with me get annoyed because I'm always trying to be more efficient and do something better, and they're like, this works, just be happy. And I'm like, it's not that I'm not happy with it. There's probably a better way to do it, you know.
Yep.
Speaking in terms of detailing in general, you know, and I will take it to my local market again. I've been around 2 other guys' shops, not all of them, but you know, I've met a lot of them, and they all do things a little bit differently. They all have a different specialty or a different thing that they offer that maybe someone else doesn't quite do. And everybody looks at detailing differently. You know, some people focus on, you know, the high end or the higher paying job. Some people focus on the volume. Some people focus on quality only, and some people focus on you know, other things that, you know, interiors only or exterior only, or you know, only coatings or only that, you know what I'm saying. Just everyone kind of does their little thing differently, and so I've tried to just kind of learn from everybody. And that comes into training, you know, my people as well. I've actually learned tips and tricks from my own guys after they've been working for me for a little while. They figure out something that they like, or they see something online like, hey, we should try this, and they share it with me. I'm always open to those suggestions. Doesn't mean it'll be implemented in the business necessarily, but I'm open to it, and I'm open to try it out and see how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would definitely agree with that, because I've seen you when we were on. Yeah, when we were on.
A lot of times they get implemented, and a lot of times it makes things better and more efficient. Instead of just me, I know everything. You know, I guess that's kind of a long way of saying.
No, that's totally fine. And I would definitely agree with that, because when we were at the training, we went to we were on site at a training. But it was a lot about business and.
Like froze up.
Yeah. There are we. Are you back? You're kind of freezing up there as well. Okay. So when we were on site at the training there, that was one of the things I noticed. You were very observant. There was a very young kid there who was good. He was a good detailer, and I know a lot of people just observed what he was doing to kind of learn how he did it, because he was trying to do it very efficiently. And yeah, that's one of the things I think that I would say is an observation of other people that comes with just owning a business for a long time.
Well, and I think one of the things that it really does too is it creates an environment where your team feels like they can go, hey, Chris, I was on YouTube, or I was at this training and I learned this technique, and you're open to exploring whether or not it's a good fit for you, your team, and your company. And I think it creates a great environment of collaboration, of teamwork, and everybody feels like, hey, I can contribute to the growth of our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, that's true. And again, it's not that I've purposely done that to create that environment, but it just naturally does that.
Yeah.
No, and that's awesome. That's why you've been in business as long as you have.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like that's spot on. Just that short answer that you just, or that short analysis that you did is exactly right.
So looking back, you know, as you've grown your business, what are a few key things that you think are really critical for business owners to implement to help their business not only grow but thrive?
So I do definitely think, you know, never thinking you know everything, you're not done learning is a huge thing. But I also think, especially in detailing, don't hyper focus on one thing. like, I'll give you an example. We got hit pretty hard with COVID stuff. Let me back up for a second. My business is pretty diversified, I guess you could say, compared to a lot of businesses. So we do like retail customer details. We do dealerships. We do fleet, like company accounts, and all sorts of stuff. So we're not just focused on one thing. We do boats and RVs and planes, and so one thing that happened, I thought we had a solid base in our fleet area. All these companies just, with company vehicles that are driving around or their carpool vehicles or whatever for their business. What happened when COVID hit, their cars just sat. Nobody was going into the office. Right. Nobody had to drive vehicles around. And we got hit pretty hard there. What saved us was all the boats and RVs because everyone was sick of staying at home. And luckily the weather was nice enough. That season started super early. People were getting out with their boats in March.
Yep.
And taking their RVs out in March. Kids weren't in school, they could go. Their kids were doing everything like we are now through Zoom, or whatever. And it saved us. And dealership accounts where their manufacturing of new cars has been super slow, almost dead in some companies. The used car market has boomed. Mm-hmm. And we've been able to stay busy with that as well. And so I think one thing to, some guys like don't want to even touch that stuff, which for some business it doesn't make sense, right? But if you get super hyper focused, like you're only doing coatings, you're not going to do any interior detailing. You're only focusing on one thing. I think you miss out on a lot of other kind of opportunities and things that you can fall back on if you need to. For instance, with COVID and stuff, that things just were not expected. I didn't have to lay anybody off. I didn't have to cut anyone's hours.
Yep.
Like it was awesome in a sense that we kind of had stuff to fall back on and fill in the schedule where we had previously had other stuff that was kind of set in stone. At least we thought so, right?
Yeah, and that's the unexpected.
I guess the other thing too, as far as business goes, like make sure that you actually set your business up legitimately, properly. I've seen some horror stories of guys who didn't have insurance and were claiming they did. They didn't have licensing, claiming they did, and they ended up, pretty much losing almost everything because they weren't willing to pay, the low costs of licensing and insurance in most cases, and especially the fact that they were out there saying they had it, so they were straight up lying to people. Like that's another huge issue. I guess on that too would be like just be honest with customers, be real with customers. Don't be the guy who overpromises, underdelivers. Quite the opposite. Underpromise, overdeliver in many cases is the right way to go. But just be honest with people and tell them the truth. Say, this stain is just not going to come out. I'm sorry, like that's not the solution. Yeah, don't tell them you can get it out if you don't know you can. We recently had a truck come in with a nasty odor. You know what this odor was? And we told them, like, no guarantees, no promises. Yeah, we definitely made it better, but, the customer wasn't super let down or anything. They're like, yeah, you made it better, so we're happy.
Right.
So instead of saying, yeah, we can 100% guarantee get this out, and then we couldn't, it could have been a totally different experience for the customer.
Yeah.
There's probably a million things we could think of if we really went down the line, but.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think those have real power because I don't think anybody in the last almost 100 episodes has ever said make sure that you're licensed and insured. Yep. I don't think anybody's ever recommended that, and I think that's a really important thing, especially if you're working on high-end cars. You need to be insured, right? Because one little mishap and you're paying for a paint job.
I'll give you an example of a case where it was not a high-end vehicle. It wasn't, thousands and thousands of dollars, but our insurance literally saved our butt on it. So we went to work on a minivan, and at the time I had a guy that was working more. He was a big dude, very strong, didn't know his own strength. He went to close the minivan door and it had jammed or something, and he literally ripped it off the hinges.
Oh, geez.
Yes. That's what I said. I was like, what? But our insurance, was able to cover that for us and take care of that, which not only did that save my butt, I didn't have to take tons of money out of pocket, just the deductible to get that repaired. They took care of the customer. The customer understood, things happen. It got repaired quickly and it got taken care of. Instead of me having to say, oh crap, I don't have insurance, do we even have money to pay for this right now? Are we gonna just, stop talking to this customer and hope they go away? Whatever people try to do in those situations.
Right.
Things happen. We've had things happen where, we were moving a car and we actually accidentally bumped it against the curb or something and had to get that repaired. And, just small things like that. And then, licensing and proper insurance, especially if you have employees, workers' comp, make sure employees are set up properly, as W-2s versus 1099s. I know other guy who was doing 1099s improperly. They were really supposed to be W-2s, and he got a $10,000, $15,000 fine, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing.
He didn't have the money for it, so it pretty much shut him down.
Yeah.
And it's simple to do. Yes, it takes some time and effort to do it properly and get the right agent and company, but when you don't set yourself up properly, you pretty much set yourself up to fail at some point or have big issues that are going to cause way more stress than needed.
Yeah.
So.
And those are the kind of lessons in trial and error nobody wants to learn. You don't want to have a $10,000 bill hit you because you did something wrong that, obviously you didn't know, but that doesn't cover it when you hurt somebody's car or when you have the wrong kind of business set up. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that people fail to do is do the research and find out how to get. It's the business side of things. How do you set up a business, and how do you make sure that you're set up the right way? And what is the difference between a 1099 and a W-2 type of employee? Yeah. And what are the laws in your area? Because they're different everywhere. This isn't a nationwide thing where it's always the same.
They're very different. They're even different from city to city.
Yep.
So you have to make sure, especially if you're a mobile guy or a mobile company, you have to know in this city this is acceptable, in this city it's not. A lot of times too, I see this all the time, even here. Companies will go into commercial areas, like where there's big office buildings and they're working in their parking lots doing detailing. They don't realize is a lot of those places require you, one, to have permission to work there, two, to have them added to your insurance as an additional insured, and three, all that paperwork has to be submitted to whoever owns the land or the buildings, and they have to approve it before that can happen.
Yeah.
And that can be different from city to city, or property to property. So you can't just go anywhere and do it like some people say. Like there's been customers we've had to tell, hey, we actually cannot detail your car there, like in a certain parking garage or a building, because they do not allow it. And if we're there doing it, we're going to be responsible for that. We're going to be the ones getting in trouble and having to deal with that versus the customer. But then again, you don't want your customer to be pissed off that you couldn't, perform the service or whatever, or get them in trouble for having you there too.
Yeah, you have to educate them.
Different complexes, apartment buildings, they all have different rules. And so you kind of have to find that stuff out. Some of that, obviously, you have to put on the customer as being mobile, but to know and find out. But at the same time, it's like you can't just willy-nilly go everywhere and do anything. Airports are super secure. Military bases here.
Yep.
I mean, they are super strict. They'll allow us there, but you've got to go through all their, steps and do it properly. You can't just show up and expect to do it. there's some serious consequences when you get into that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
little black ops operation comes out and shuts you down, throws you in a van and drives you off, and you disappear.
Yeah, exactly. That's true of anything. I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's true anywhere. I mean, the learning by mistake is kind of my middle name, and I've actually had the Black Ops guy at the SEMA show that I was behind the curtain up against a wall because I decided to make a decision to go in the wrong area. It was funny afterwards, but at the time when the guy's got the rubber glove on, it's not so funny.
It's fun.
Yeah, I called and told my kids, and as soon as I told them I was in the back room with the guy with a black suit and a microphone on his lapel, my kids just went, "What did you do this time, Dad?"
And I just started laughing.
Everybody just started laughing. I mean, we were like, let's live stream this. I mean, let's turn this whole thing into something fun,
Yeah.
But I think those are the kind of things where legitimately in business, in your area, there are different rules, right? So there's no one prescription. And that's the one thing I love about what we do on this program is we expose people to things that they might not know about. Cold weather, some people that are in, California, Florida, Arizona, they don't kind of get it until they see this. They're not going to get it unless they're in Flagstaff or something like that. But to understand that you guys in our areas, we have to prepare for there's a different market every season, right? There's the spring season, there's the summer season, there's the 2.5 weeks of fall, and then it's winter for 6 months. So, you got to kind of plan for that stuff. And your example of what happened in the springtime is a perfect example that a lot of people don't look at. They're like, I don't want to do boats or RVs, or I don't really want to do recreational vehicles and motorcycles or any of that kind of stuff. But you have to look in your area at what is your climate, what are your seasons, what is the geography of the business environment. Can you go to an area and open up and be like the mobile detailer in this parking lot? And you can gain business by doing that, just by having your van. I know that you get business by having your van parked somewhere, somebody sees it, and that gets you additional business. It's kind of the benefit of having a mobile operation. Yep.
Every day.
Yes.
So, man, we could obviously keep going. Maybe we ought to do a round 2. But so if you're in the Midvale, Central Valley part of Utah, how do people find you other than just look for a black and orange van driving everywhere?
So we spend a good amount of effort and money in reality on our SEO, on our Google listings, advertising that way. Not a huge amount of money, I guess, but we do. One thing that has been absolutely huge for us is just word of mouth. I do now on staff. I do have a guy who he's basically our sales guy, so he'll go try to get us business, some bigger accounts and things like that. But in all reality, from going from where we started, when I took over this from my brother-in-law with 2 mobile vans that were busy half the time, not even fully busy, to what we're doing now. It was just those things that we talked about, like setting ourselves up to be successful, doing things properly, being honest with our customers, giving the customer a good experience as opposed to something that they don't want to come back to. Funny story real quick to just kind of show you how well that works. When we were looking for a space for a building, we found this building, with the agents going back and forth, and we found this building. And when we decided this is what we wanted, we submitted all this stuff, and the landlord is like, "Oh my gosh, Onsite Detail! I love them. I use them all the time." And so we immediately were like top of the list to get in here.
Nice.
And since then, we've continued to work with them. I mean, like I said, we've only been here since May, and I think we've already detailed the landlord's cars a few times, family members of them, and so it's just one of those things. Customer experience is huge. I think a lot of times, especially the smaller operations, and this actually I would say this goes for any business, not just detail. But people focus on the product or the service as far as like, oh, I'm going to polish this paint perfect. So everyone's so impressed, and they'll send. And in reality, most customers don't see that perfect paint. They care more about their experience, and they say, yeah, the car looks great, but man, these guys were on top of it. They communicated well. They were professional.
Yep.
They were on time. They did what they said they were going to do, and a little bit more, and stuff like that. Versus, yeah, the paint looks great, but this guy didn't tell me when he was coming. He didn't even show up for the first appointment. I didn't know how much it was going to cost. I felt like, it was more than I was wanting to spend. Things like that just hurt that customer experience. By all means, I'm not saying we do things perfectly, but that's something that we've really focused on that does get us a lot of business. I mean, I will even our dealership accounts that we do, like a lot of times the people in charge at the dealerships that we deal with are like, man, you guys just are a step way above and beyond all you have worked with. Like, that's you're cool. Communicating, you're making sure we're happy, and we intentionally will ask, each dealership or customer, like, what areas they get bugged by the most. Is it the windows? Is it the wheels? Is it seats, or is it the paint work? Is it whatever? And they all have something different, and so we take notes and we keep that on file. So if I did a job once and I said, this person is really picky about their rims, the next detailer can see that and they will say, oh, okay, I gotta focus on the rims, and we'll keep that. The receptionist whose schedule, she is amazing. She'll say, to our detailers, she'll take notes as customers are scheduling and put that in the notes for our guys, so that we make sure that we give them the service they're wanting. Obviously within the budget of what they're spending and packages that they're choosing that we offer, but it's about that experience, and that's one thing is providing that most of the time. Again, we're not perfect, can't satisfy everybody. Things happen sometimes out of our control, and sometimes having employees, you have a bad apple that just rubs people the wrong way or doesn't quite do the job how we want it to be done. But I mean, that's also part of growing a business and having a business. So
Yep.
another thing to learn, if you do go from one-man show to hiring a helper to hiring a full-time person, eventually get people that are actually doing the majority of the detailing or work for you. It's never going to be done exactly like the way you do it. I found in many cases that's a great thing, because they do a better job than me, and they've got skill sets that I just don't have. Like I said, our receptionist, she is amazing on the phone, and she takes care of people, and she does a great job. And same with our sales guy, and all my detailers. Like, my mom, she works here. She's gonna retire soon, but she just has skill sets that I don't have. She's an accountant, by profession. And so she just knows how to get things done and organize. And my wife the same way, just with finance and seeing the numbers. And I'm definitely more the risk taker, and she's more of the conservative as far as that goes. But
yeah, that's my office
so
wife.
we kind of all balance each other out and work together. And yeah, and so in all, it's like you were saying earlier, it's like that team environment. I do not consider all the success that we've had, it's not all me. It's definitely not all me. Without a lot of these people here, if I was trying to do all this by myself, it would not happen. It would have fallen apart a long time ago. I would have got burnout. I would have quit. I would have, gone to work somewhere most likely, or just been on to the next business that I had that I thought was going to be great, and so that group environment. And another thing with owning a business, like I know some guys hate the idea of having employees and they just don't do it, which is totally fine if that was the worst for them. One of the most satisfying things that I found in business is being able to provide people with jobs that they like. They're excited to get up in the morning and go to. That they know that they will be heard and listened to, and not just, this is your job, you do it, and you shut up and put your head down and do it. There are instances where I'll say things like that, but that's not the overall feel that I want people to have. Like, being able to provide people with a good job and a good environment to work, where they feel comfortable and happy and stuff, has been amazing. And then even to see, like, my guys take their families on vacations, I mean, that is so satisfying. Where they can take their family, they can take work off for a week and go to Disneyland or whatever they're doing. And, it feels good because, all the hard work I put in, yes, it benefits me and my family, but it also benefits others.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that's really something extremely satisfying that I did not expect.
That's
and
awesome.
Kind of running a business and growing.
So if I'm in Harriman or South Jordan or, Sandy, how do I get in touch with you to have my boat, RV, my airplane, and my car done?
So really any way that you prefer, you can contact us. So you can call us, you can text us, you can email us, you can fill out a form on our website, you can message us on Facebook or through Yelp or whatever your preferred method of communication is. That's kind of what we go with. For quickest response, phone call, texting, but honestly, any way that people want to call us or whatever, get a hold of us. So our phone number, 801-412-9274. Website is onsitedetail.net, which we got it back up and running, by the way, because I know it was down. It was down all day yesterday from some stupid little thing.
That happens.
We're launching a whole new website pretty soon, and so this one has kind of just sat there for a while, and it's been having issues. But anyway, we figured it out. Our social media, Facebook, all that stuff is just Onsite Detail. So any of that stuff you can. If anyone has questions or is looking for work even in the area, like we're still looking to hire and as we grow and stuff like that. Even rolling into winter, which I know sounds weird, to me because it's always been completely opposite.
Right.
We're still looking for a few good people to bring on board, and then potentially next year, if everything is still going good, then we'll be hiring on some more people again. So.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I mean, this has been absolutely amazing. I mean, you have so much knowledge that you're willing to share, and we just want to thank you for taking out the time because we know you're extremely busy. We want to remind everybody, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. We are doing the Buff and Shine RoadFS 2020 Relief Package. So you need to hashtag Buff and Shine Manufacturing, Reflection Artist, and RoadFS. Give us some love, and you get bonus entries when you go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So,
awesome. That's perfect. And stay tuned. We do this every single Thursday. If you're watching this and you want to be on the show and you never have, just get a hold of us at
info@zimware.com.
Yeah. Go to our website.
Yeah, go to our website.
If you can't find us, you're not looking. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You guys have a fantastic day. Appreciate you guys joining us every week. And we will check you same time, same bat channel, just with a different business owner or supplier. And right here on RoadFS. See ya!